This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 train. The next stop is
Wall Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Friday. This is Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad on July 26th. Let's jump right into the session. So it was a very bullish day, but also a lot of cross currents, and I'll kind of walk through why I thought it wasn't as straightforward as one may think looking at the headline numbers. But let's take a look at breadth today. We had 596 new highs on the NYSE versus 100 new lows. 78% of shares were advancing versus 18% declining. 36% of stocks were below their 50-day moving average, and 31% of stocks were below their 200-day moving average. Now, taking a look across the indices, all were green. The Dow Jones Industrial closed up 654 points, or 1.64%. Very powerful move. It led all the indices. I'm just looking at the ES futures because I usually follow that because it's 24/7 trading. Basically, the ES futures were up 1% today, or 58 points. The NQ was up 0.97%, almost a percent, up 183 points. And the Russell futures were up 1.6% today, almost rivaling the Dow. But take a look at the intraday 5-minute chart of the ES, the NQ, and the Russell. I'll have it in the show notes, but for those that are just listening to the podcast on Spotify in your car, obviously I don't want you looking at charts. Most of the gain happened overnight while majority of the U.S. was asleep. And then the white line that you see at 8:30 represents the PCE news that came out at 8:30 in the morning. The PCE came in exactly where it was expected, and the assumption is that inflation is slowing. Thus, the implication is that we should be getting a Fed rate cut. So take a look at these charts. They kind of waffled all morning, and then right in the 11 o'clock-ish time frame, everything rallied. But shortly after everything rallied, it sold off into the close, especially in the case of the NQ. The ES was a little bit better. It held the PCE as the horizontal line from 8:30 as support, whereas the NASDAQ spent most of the day underneath that PCE price. And the Russell also did better than the NASDAQ, but it was all over the place, as you can see. So, yes, the markets are green. Yes, I'm going to cover a ton of stocks that were strong, but the complexion was a little weak. And it's weird because you had the Dow up 650 points and the Russell up 35 points, or the Russell futures. All in all, the headline numbers are great. But I don't know. Something doesn't sit well with that when the ES and the NQ are selling off toward the end of the day. And it doesn't show it as such because most of the gain happened overnight, from Thursday night into Friday morning. So let's keep going. I'll cover what was strong, what was weak today. So we closed off the highs, as I mentioned. That stuck out to me. I'll go through what was strong. These are all percents, okay? So we had MicroStrategies up 9.1%, Wayfair 7.9%, Restoration Hardware 7.8%, Carvana 7%, Marathon Digital 6.3%, Hovanian Homes 5.8%, New York Community Bank 5.7%, Zeta Global Holdings 5.4%, iBit 5.3%, FBTC, this is all Bitcoin, 5.2%, Sweetgreen 5.1%, Toll Brothers Home Builder 5.1%, Coinbase 4.9, Riot 4.3, and Crocs 4.2. Harmony Gold 4.01, Pulte Homes 3.99, DoorDash 3.9, ITB Home Builder Index 3.4, Beezer Homes 3.3, Kura Sushi 3.3, XHB Home Builder Index 3.3, AI 3.3, PaySafe 3.2, Lennar Home Builder 3.1, Etsy 3.04, Birkenstock Sandals 3.04, ASML Holdings 2.99, KB Homes 2.8. I'll leave the rest on the show notes. You get the picture. A ton of home builders continue to be on these strong lists every day. And I think we're getting closer and closer to the expectation of a rate cut. Next week, you have the Fed news coming out. So maybe they're anticipating a rate cut next week. But we shall see. What was weak? This list was not as big. You had the volatility index down 11%, 11.2% to be exact. Hims and Hers was down 6.3 on news. BITI, which is inverse of Bitcoin, down 5.3%. DRV 4.8. These are all inverse ETFs, so I'm going to skip them. They're all short ETFs that were down because everything was up. Natural gas futures was down 2.7, TerraWolf 2.4, Spotify 2.1, and Uber 2.04. So free members, if you're into the Olympics, hope you enjoy watching that this weekend in Paris. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all after the Monday session. Premium members, please stay on for a few more minutes. That's my train.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.